Mr. Attorney General, thank you very much for making time. The FBI says white nationalism fueled violence is on the rise. Should people in Wisconsin be concerned?
Well, I think we need to be concerned with any kind of violence, and there certainly seems to be a rise in violence that's motivated by extremism and white nationalism in particular. So one of the things we need to make sure we're doing is condemning comments that are racist, comments that are xenophobic, and hate speech, so that we make clear that this is unacceptable and that there's no place for it in Wisconsin or in the United States.
Are you aware, are there any active investigations of white supremacy or domestic terrorism groups in Wisconsin right now?
A lot of law enforcement groups work together, including the federal government, our agency, the Department of Justice, and state and local law enforcement, to work to identify any major threats to public safety, whether they are threats that involve white nationalists or others who are considering engaging in some sort of violent activity. That process will go on, and we're going to continue conducting investigations that will work to keep our communities safe.
President Trump signaled an interest in red flag laws. You've been a proponent from day one since taking office. This gives family members a chance to raise a red flag to take away guns from someone they believe to be a danger to themselves or others. Will this make us safer?
I think a red flag law and universal background checks would both make us safer. As Attorney General, my top priority is public safety. And right now we face a real challenge with mass shootings and with gun violence. And taking steps that are going to make it less likely that kind of violence is going to happen, I think is a key part of my job as Attorney General. And I think we can do that most effectively by enacting laws that help us identify people who are a danger to themselves or others, and either prevent them from obtaining firearms in the first place through universal background checks, or giving law enforcement or family members a tool to, as you say, raise a red flag if they identify a family member who's, for example, going through a mental health crisis and is suicidal, or who has made threats to others, so that action can be taken and that an intervention can happen before an act of violence does.
Well, Mr. Attorney General, let me ask you, I know that the governor wants to speak with Assembly Speaker Vos and the Senate Majority Leader next week. Will you be a part of that meeting? And let me just ask you also something that Speaker Vos tweeted out. He says, "I will not entertain proposals to take away Second Amendment rights or due process. Hopefully we can find common ground on the real problem by addressing the mental health issues facing Wisconsin." There would be due process involved with any red flag laws, would there not?
That's absolutely right, and I do hope we can find compromise, and the first step for that is that we need to start having discussions to figure out if we can reach agreement. These laws are constitutional. There would be a judge who would issue an order, so there would be a process in place. The states that have red flag laws, in none of those states have these laws been struck down. This is about keeping people safe from people who are a danger to others or to themselves. But I think we need to move forward. There has been urgency in some places. In Ohio today, the governor called for action. Right. Yeah. President Trump yesterday came out in support of a red flag law. I want to see action here in Wisconsin. I'm hopeful that the legislature will hold hearings so ideas can be put on the table and we can debate what is going to most effectively keep communities safe.
Yeah, 17 states now have red flag laws. Attorney General Josh Kaul, we appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Steve?